Who could have thought it? If Sunday comes around and then it goes, and then it comes around and then it goes. It's just cyclical. It's the days of the week. Who'd have thought the days of the week would carry on when nothing else has? But it has, hasn't it? This week. Hello person that's joined me. Hello. Loads of people have gone out this weekend in England to the pub. I didn't go to the pub. Well, mainly because, I don't like the pub. And also, I'm in Wales and the pubs haven't started yet. The pubs haven't started in Wales at all, which is because Welsh people are sensible. Not like English people, it turns out, who have, in their hordes, in their millions, gone to the pub and the streets. And because not all of the pubs are open, the pubs that have opened are a lot more crowded than they would have been otherwise. Yeah, fun. Fun in the there is sun, not that much sun. 2 people, hello. But I'm still here. I've had a bit of a week. Not particularly different to anything else, but I've done my first Zoom meeting this week, and I've done my first Google meetings this week, and I've done my first tutorial in front of the internet. So that's it this week. Whoops. And I also took part in Monk Watch, or virtual monk spotting, and you can see the footage that I uploaded to that on my channel. So that was fun too. So I don't know whether I've done a lot this week. I've done some stuff this week, but I have not gone to the pub or anywhere else, because you still can't go within, you have to travel within 5 miles of where you started in, just change the lighting here, in the Wales where I am. So last week I did go for a little jaunt up the mountain and down the mountain, and that was fun, but it didn't last very long. So there's a little lake at the top of a place called Blaenavon, so we went there. That was fun, but you can't go very far. So I don't know what everybody else has been up to, but I've not really, as I said, that's what I've done. Sat here and talked to people, which is what I've done anyway. You can just see a lot of stuff here, so I'll just turn this around. Yes, is that better? I don't know. So I'm on my little cushion thing here. Uncomfortable. I was just before I nearly didn't start at 8 because I was like, trying to tune this again, and still can't play it. Had it for years, and that's as good as it gets. Nobody's talking to me. Oh well, who can blame them? I wouldn't talk to me if I was the only person. You've come here, you may as well say something. No, just wanting to be entertained. Well, you're in the wrong place then, aren't you? Hey, everybody, the pubs are all open. Oh, the pubs are all open. Yay. Not yay. Hooray. Not hooray. Hey, yay. It's a disaster. Just waiting to happen. See, that's discordant. That's pretty much how I'm feeling about this whole situation. It's too soon. Eric Idle has put on Twitter, apparently the official Monty Python Twitter feed said, we're all going back to the pubs, go and put on your best clothes, and he's like, no, not unless it's called the Grim Reaper. Don't go back to the pubs, stay in your houses. Everybody stay in their houses. I think in America it's been the July the 4th, the Independence Day, which we don't celebrate in Britain, unsurprisingly really, because it's independence from Britain that you're celebrating. And so that's fun for you, isn't it? And I think a lot of people went out on the Raz, if you want to call it that, in America too, didn't they? Sensible. Not sensible, no. So this is all going to end well, and end being the operative word. This is the end of the world, basically. Nah. And also they found a different form of matter, as well as dark matter. There's some sort of different form of... And also, what I read somewhere is scientists have found that there's some sort of quantum energy that can move large objects. Not very far, but you can move them. Like, whoa, it must have moved me then. Ah! Far, far, far further than you can actually go with the quantum objects. And nobody's talking to me. Oh, I don't know whether it's broken, whether you can see me or not. Somebody say something. Not going to say something, really. My stupid Yeah, I'm going to torture you with ukulele. Oh, see, I should have really been learning to play. Oh, hello, all of us at once. Hello, Neil Pickles. Hello, Terry. Hello, Boheme. Nice to see you. Yay! I should really be. I looked at the keyboard today, and I'm like, I haven't got anywhere on that. And I looked at my guitar that I looked at that I bought, and I haven't got anywhere on that. And I haven't written anything, and I haven't done anything. I just I did the monk watch. I've done some videos, not as many as I could have done. I was pricing up. I was going to do some podcasts or something, but I've got some vouchers, so I might be able to get some sort of podcast equipment, but it's all a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. So now I'm like, oh no, so I might save for that. I don't know, somehow I'm going to get it. And so a few people have been very kind and offered me equipment, but I'm not sure whether I'm gonna. I've got some vouchers anyway. It's very generous of the people, so let's see what happens. Really, I think it's one of those sort of things. It's like I want to do it on my own. Thank you, Neil Pickles. I like the monks too. I spotted them in my garden. I don't know where they came from. They just appeared out of nowhere. It was very spooky. Very spooky. Quantum is a bit random. Yes, the quantum leap. So what's the quantum energies making you leap? Not as far in the future. Not to put right what once went wrong. That would be good, wouldn't it? But to do other things like I think they moved a fridge like 1/1,000,000 of a millimeter. So that was effective. You could just see, you don't really need quantum energy. You just go, and then it moves. Really? Hello, Matt. It's a pointless. I don't know whether there's something can be. Maybe they can do some sort of wormholes or some sort of Star Trek-y thing and move across the. Maybe they can go through the. What was it in the last Discovery where with the mycelium network, and you go through the mushroom with the great big let's I don't think that's really possible, but it's hello Philip, so it's possible. Everybody came all at once because you're sensible people. The 10 of you and me, 11 of us, we're here. We're not out ganning about. Maybe the monks did escape from the monk explode. Yes, that's very good point. Very good point, monk. Andy Calloway. Yes, you found a worm in the hole. Oh, wow. It's just worms and monks. So that's basically this week. And also, you remember 2012, and everyone was like, the Mayan calendar means it's the end of the world because that's when the Mayan calendar ends. Oh, thanks. That's okay. Bye-bye now. The Mayan calendar ended in 2012, but the world didn't end. But now somebody said, oh, well, because of the Gregorian calendar and the way that it's changed and the Julian calendar, actually, 2010 is now. Like, next week. So that's, yeah. Whoops, sorry, I'm getting messages on my phone from other places. There's going to be a project where several of us are going to read somebody's poem for a charity. So I've just asked people to send me to whether they want to be interested. People from the Northwest London Equity branch. I'll just close that then. So we're going to put that together. I'm going to ask for the people to put the poem. Send me the poem and I'll cut it together and I'll put that on their site. Not on my channel. It'll be on the Equity channel, which I haven't put anything on, but I think if I haven't set it up, I will. So I'll do that. Anyway, that's what the messages are. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thumbs up? Thumbs? I can't even say the. Why aren't all the theatres going to close? The theatres are all closed. Why aren't all the theatres going to close? They are closed. That's the thing. That's the worry. So now it's like, oh no, because there's lots of people that haven't got jobs and are going to be in struggle. So what the future holds for people who are in entertainment is anybody's guess, really. Now everybody's turned to doing YouTube and stuff. And because there's so many millions of people doing YouTube, it was hard enough anyway to get an audience. The 10 of you very generously came here. But that is a a massive audience, really, comparatively. What keeps theatres alive? Theatres are kept alive by people going into them and feeding them from the inside out. Also, the acoustics in theatres. If you've got a really big theatre, even if you've got social distancing, it's not very economically feasible because you really need to fill it out. And also, all the people on stage are right next to each other, and you can see all the spit coming out their mouth and stuff when they're on stage, especially if they're really gesticulating. So that's not good. And yes, the theatres eat the actors. They eat the actors and they spit them out. That's what theatres do, Matt. That's exactly what they do. But also the acoustics in a big theatre. So if they've got people dotted all around, then the sound quality is not the same. It'll be all echoey. So they'll have to find a way to fill it up without filling it up. So it's a complicated thing. And they're not opening until next year, apparently. So there's a lot of theatres that are going to go dark forever, which is the technical in the business name for not having any shows on. So there'll be a lot of empty, spooky theatres around, which will be very sad indeed. And yes, so that's a bit of a dilemma. I think the few television and television and film productions going back by having everybody isolate and quarantine for weeks ahead of time. So they're all I think they're doing that with Bake Off, and also some of the big films coming up in Pinewood and everything. They're taking everyone to a field and leaving them there for 2 weeks. Not leaving them in a field. Bake Off, they're leaving them in a field, but they're putting them in hotels for a long time. So there's going to be a lot fewer people involved. So that you're going to have to multi-skill, so that you have to do all the jobs. So they don't have as many people, and they all keep them together for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Like Big Brother, only with all of the productions. So that will be interesting. But with theatre, the trouble is, there's a lot of people involved because the audience actually come in. So, I mean, they've done a lot of streaming with theatre. I was watching Hamilton. I didn't finish watching it. I've got Disney Plus, so I was watching Hamilton. And then my mum came in and said, can I watch Hamilton? And I'm like halfway through, and I'm like, okay, so I'll get back to it. But that was in a real theatre to start with. Now, if they tried to do it now, it might be a bit... COVID the Musical, I think, Matt L, there might be a lot of people making COVID the Musical. The big problem with that is, where do you put it on? Because, you could stream it live. It's making it. That's the thing. COVID the Musical, it'd just be a lot of little Zoom boxes, really, wouldn't it? I'm pretty sure millions of people are going to have COVID. There'll be 150,000 COVID the Musicals. I think we need to knock that on the head, find something new. And, I mean, there was an Arts Council thing that I applied for, and, they were trying to look for theatre that they can do in the new, but I didn't get there. I didn't do it. I didn't win. And also the Monks Project, somebody else they put that up, and the Arts Council didn't like that either, the Arts Council of Wales. So they did it anyway. So I took part in that. Really, Wales the Musical. That's a good one. Yeah. It is catchy. Yes, lots of TikTok. Yeah. So what people are going to do in the future is basically what I'm doing now, talking to you. That will be this is theatre. This is the future of theatre. I am the future of theatre. This looks a little bit like a theatre. It's just so I'll go inside my, this is a bit like a theatre. So I'll go inside my fireplace and I'll peep out and I'll be, theatre, and I'll have to use my puppets. You haven't seen my puppets for a couple of weeks, have we? Ah, my puppets are still here. They're over here. Excuse me. Hello. Where are you, puppets? Puppety puppets. Puppets. And also, masks. So we wear masks. You have to wear masks now with the new theatre. So obviously you have to wear masks. So maybe Commedia dell'arte, when you had to wear masks. These are the old days. The olden days you had to wear. They went on touring. In Italy they went around. And they wore the masks, and you're still breathing them though. And then and they went from town to town. Outside theatre, that's what you need. Outside theatre. From town to town with your special mask. Exactly, I don't think it's the right sort of mask either. It is the right sort of mask for Commedia dell'arte, but not for... I should do a sort of like fashion show with all my masks that I've bought now. Yes. There, you can wear a mask, little puppet. There you go. There's the puppet's little mask. Masquerade. Fa 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 fa. La 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 la. Yeah 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 yeah. So yeah, theatre of the future is not going to be future. It's not going to be the same as theatre of the past, really, because I mean, even in the plague, they had to, Shakespeare time, they had to close the theatres for a little while, and then they all came back again after a while. And in the Spanish flu, apparently they didn't stop the theatres at all. And yeah, but now we know better. So the theatres will never open again. Oh no! Take a bow. Theatre! So theatre be one person in a box with all these puppets and masks. Puppet boxing match, alright? It's hard. I think they need proper gloves. They're more sort of poking each other in the eye. Heading, nutting each other. I went all this. It's pulling focus. You're pulling focus, puppets. Puppets. Yes. So, so theatre of the future. It's going to be difficult. Very difficult indeed. Who can say what we're going to do? So it'll just be somebody like me with my puppets and my one-man band. Punch a Judy. Yeah, Punch a Judy and Elise. Yes. It's like, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. I can't do the Punch voice. I can do the Donald Duck voice. So there's a lot of you can't do that near to people because there's going to be a lot of spit on people. But it's like it doesn't really sound like Donald Duck, does it? No. It sounds more like some sort of horror movie, some eldritch horror movie, something that's from yeah. That's really awful and horrible. Scary. I made a joke this week and nobody got it, and I was just sad about Cthulhu. Cthulhu and the Welsh sound LLW, which is more like not. I'm doing the Donald Duck voice. Flu. And Cthulhu is Cthulhu, or is it flu? So Cthulhu, flu. And it worked well in my head anyway, and nobody got it. And my mum helped by saying, "Don't worry, Elise, that nobody gets it because Maxine Peake, I don't know. I think she's misguided. Maybe let's leave it at that. Let's not go down the Maxine Peak. Let's not climb the Maxine Peak. Let's leave Maxine Peak wherever Maxine Peake wants to go. I think this is a pit, not a pitfall. Yeah, apparently she is. Probably is. Didn't mean to be. Just the thing is with casual racism is people don't necessarily mean to be casually racist. They just end up being it. So let's. Who knows? I'm not going to do the puppet show about casual racism again. I did that a couple of weeks ago and it didn't go down well. Everybody was like, no, I'm going to leave. I'm never coming back again. Do I? I don't know. Are you a racist puppet? The puppet says no. So I can only take the puppet's word for it. The puppet doesn't speak, so the puppet says it's not racist, so the puppet's gonna just have to go with that, really. You have to just trust people on their word sometimes. Not always. So that's all I can say about that. So I don't work with racists because I'm not working with anyone, am I? I'm just in my house. Yes, Nat Farage. Yes, the Farage person I'm talking. No, I don't work with him. Thank goodness. That's it. But he's in trouble for going to the pub when he was supposed to be in quarantine. He went all the way to talk in wherever it was that Mr. President of the United States, who shall not be named, had a rally. Farage, even though he wasn't supposed to leave the country, but it was special. Apparently Nigel Farage is better than the rest of us. I don't think he is. And then he came back and he went to the pub. What an idiot. I probably do need a swazzle to do a Punch's voice. Yeah, it's really difficult. That's not really punch voice. That's the way to do it. That's not a swizzle. It's just my voice being weird. That's... You can't tell what I'm saying. So yes, you do need special equipment to do Mr. Punch. Clearly, because I can't do it with just my throat. Without really hurting my throat. Yes, there's a lot of terrible people in the world, I think you'll find. A lot of terrible people. But then again, you start looking back, and I've been watching Dave channel in Britain, where they've got a load of old quizzes and stuff. And the people saying things on the quizzes, and these are just like family entertainment quizzes, and you're like, these are like 2 or 3, 5 years ago, 10 years, not that long ago. And these people are saying things that are very dodgy, like casually sexist and racist and misogynist and just not great. And you're like, what? And you're like, well, you couldn't say that today, thank goodness, because these people would be immediately cancelled, and good too, because you need to be nicer to people and not so horrible. Think about what you're saying, because not everything's funny just because you think it's funny. And the thing is a lot of people like, well, if it's offensive and funny, it's still funny, but it's not necessarily, because I don't know. I don't laugh at things that I don't make me laugh. So it's horrible. I might go, because everyone's looking at me or something. It doesn't, it's just like, I think funny's funny is not an excuse for being horrible. That's all I've got to say about that. It's not an excuse. And I'm not funny at all, so ha ha ha! Got one on there. I don't have to be not offensive. I'm not funny or offensive. Or sometimes I am, I don't know. Sometimes I'm accidentally funny and sometimes I'm accidentally offensive. But never the twain shall meet. I'm not funny because I'm offensive. I'm not offensive because I'm funny. But we're not talking about me. We're not talking about me. We're never talking about me. Who wants to ever talk about me? Nobody. More people messaging me about this poetry thing. It's going to be amazing. Somebody else's poem. But it's for charity. I mean, I'm a big egotist. I'll be like, my poem! But it's not my poem, it's somebody else's poem. But that's good. That's good. It's for charity. It's for charity. It's for the Actors Benevolent Fund, which is going to be needed a lot, because there's going to be a lot of actors in need of benevolence and money very soon, I think. Very, very, very soon indeed. Now, in fact. And for the upcoming, foreseeable future. The poems are fine. Yeah, the poems are good. Of course they're good. They're and it doesn't matter if they are or not. I think it was some actors' mothers written them, and it's great. They're sweet and nice and lovely. That's all you need. Sweet, nice, and lovely. It doesn't have to be great art. If it makes people happy, that's good enough. What do the critics know? Nothing. Critics don't know nothing. Critics are always giving me 1 star and 2 stars. Probably because they do know something. But no, they don't always know something, because I tell you what got a really bad review? Weekend at Bernie's. I tell you what, that got terrible reviews. But Weekend at Bernie's is a classic. It's a classic. So that shows you my level of sense of humour, really. Is that offensive? Yes, probably. Carting around a dead body and pretending it's alive. But it's funny. Bet it is probably quite offensive, thinking about it. So maybe my whole thing about being offensive isn't funny is wrong, because Weekend at Bernie's is hilarious. I haven't seen it for years. Maybe it's not hilarious. I was a small child when I saw it. Maybe I'm completely misguided, and I'll watch it and go, oh. But at the time, Weekend at Bernie's is like it's classic. That's up there with Midsummer Night's Dream. Classic. Maybe. I'm sure Shakespeare would write Shakespeare's Weekend at Bernie's. Yay. Yes, exactly. Never go back. You will see many problems if I rewatch it. I will. That's true, fella. You can't, things that you thought were the best thing ever, and you watch them and you're like, this is not what I remember at all. Just a never-ending story. Oh, it's so amazing. You watch it and you go, what the... How did I watch this when I was a child and thought it was amazing? Obviously, the Limar song, stands the test of time. Never-ending Story itself, not so much, really. Now you want to rewatch Weekend at Bernie's or Never-ending Story? Never-ending Story. Mannequin! That's another thing. Mannequin. I loved Mannequin when I watched it. You watch it again, you go, oh, this is not right. And it's terrible. And obviously Hollywood, the character of Hollywood, a terrible stereotype. Really horribly offensive. But it was funny when we were kids because we were stupid kids. So, yeah. Some things don't do well on rewatching. It's got to be said. There's a lot of things. Some things don't go well when you watch them the first time. Like, I really like Titus Burgess. Is that his name? He's in The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. He's amazing. He's really funny. But I got Amazon again yesterday, Prime, and we were looking for a film, and there was something called I Hate Kids, and it had Titus Burgess in it, and I started watching it, and it was really, no, not worth watching the first time. Don't watch that. It's a terrible film. I don't know how it ends, because it was too boring to carry on. It was just boring and offensively stupid, but not funny offensive, which isn't, as we've said, funny isn't offensive isn't funny. In this case, it's just offensively bad. It's terrible. And it's got Kim Wexler from Better Call Saul, and it's got Titus Burgess, two people I like and admire and think are great. But they're in this film, and it's not a good film. Do not watch it, even though it's film. If you've got it's film, it's free if you've got Amazon Prime. Yes, Shakespeare's Tempest, Weekend at Bernie's. Yes, exactly. Caddyshack. Is Caddyshack as good as you remember? I don't know. Well, I haven't seen Caddyshack for a while. I know that, what's that one? What's that one where they go in the army? Anyway, that another Bill Murray film where he's in the army, and I remember that being good when I was a kid, but I think it probably wouldn't be Stripes, is it called? Probably if I saw it now, I'd go, no. But at the time, ha ha ha, it's so funny, ha ha ha, not Spies Like Us. Spies Like Us, I quite liked, even though it's not a great film. I like Spies Like Us, but I think it was Stripes, yeah, Stripes, where they all join the army to get out of something or other, and the army's terrible. Private Benjamin, I remember that being good. Maybe that still is good, but Stripes, no. Stripes, no. David Bowie was not in Neverending Story. That's Labyrinth. And Labyrinth does hold up, mainly because it's got puppets in it. And you can never go wrong with puppets. Benny Hill, I haven't seen Benny Hill for years, because Benny Hill, very much like Jerry Lewis and the French. Jerry Lewis travels well. The French love Jerry Lewis, and the Americans don't love him as much. And Benny Hill, the Americans, I think, like Benny Hill more than the British do. And not that we didn't like him, he's just, I think he was more popular in America. I think one of those things, you know, humour that is good in one country travels differently. It travels differently. Sometimes it works better in a different country. Other people, I mean, Norman Wisdom in the 50s was, my dad loves Norman Wisdom. I don't think Norman Wisdom did well anywhere else in the world. And he didn't do very well after the 50s. But in the 50s, if you were a child in the 50s, which my dad was, then Norman Wisdom was the king of comedy. If you were anyone else at any other time, probably not. Not that he's terrible. He's just very, very schmaltzy. But he's British, so schmaltzy isn't what we call them. It's just a very cloying and twee and a very sentimental in the Charlie Chaplin sort of way. And Charlie Chaplin very much so as well. I'm sure Charlie Chaplin was a big hit when he was around. But I like the later Charlie Chaplin, like Mr. Hulot and The Great Dictator and the Talkie Chaplin, really, Limelight. But I don't really think that his little tramp holds up in years. I mean, Buster Keaton, yes, Buster Keaton forever. Anyway, we're probably going to have to go back to the whole silent films where you don't have to speak, so you're not spitting on people and doing them in our homes and anything. The censors couldn't find anything wrong with Norman Wisdom, no, because he's just like, hey, don't laugh at me because I'm a fool. Oh, yes, and then he sings, and you're like, whoa, that voice comes out of that little man. Oh, that's amazing for a little man. Like he wasn't the best voice in the world, but for, you know, coming out of little Norman Wisdom with a flat cap, and it's like, oh, Mr. Grimsdale. That's not a very good impression. But anyway, basically, Norman Wisdom is of his time. Norman Wisdom is obviously very funny for the people that like Norman Wisdom, like my dad. I can't say that I love Norman Wisdom. I don't hate Norman Wisdom. There's nothing wrong with Norman Wisdom. It's just, yeah. There's a lot of people, like Jerry Lewis, hit and miss. Jerry Lewis, I used to love when I was a child. I thought Jerry Lewis could do no wrong, and you watch him later on and you go, what are you doing, Jerry Lewis? What on earth is that, Jerry Lewis? Jerry Lewis. I've got a friend who really didn't get on well, he was a Jerry Lewis fan. Stephen Allen Green, this man. I'm sure he won't mind you telling him, because he's had Edinburgh shows about it. Stephen Allen Green invited Jerry Lewis to do a big benefit concert when Jerry Lewis was about 70 or 80 at the time. A big benefit concert called High on Laughter in the Palladium in the West End. And he spent all his money getting Jerry Lewis over. And then Jerry Lewis collapsed and got ill just before he went on, and Stephen Allen Green is convinced that Jerry Lewis was faking it. And I can't say one way or the other where he wasn't, but obviously that didn't really do very well for anyone. And so Stephen Allen Green thinks that Jerry Lewis was his enemy and made, well, actually, because he had quite a few shows out of that, he's done, whatever. Stephen Allen Green, he was one of the first people at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, I think it was. But, but he thinks that Jerry Lewis ruined his life. And who's to say he didn't? I don't know. Hello from South East London, anti-M66, yes. Jerry Lewis films to be shown later this century. I don't know. Jerry Lewis. Anyway. Jerry Lewis. Big in France, Jerry Lewis. Anyway, I'm going to go now on that note after I've been talking about people. Jerry Lewis is dead now, unfortunately. But Stephen Allen Green is there. Oh, The Day the Clown Cried. I have seen a clip from that. It's in, and I think I know people that swear that they have seen The Day the Clown Cried, which is actually is very schmaltzy and sort of like, oh, what? Because it's about a clown that leads children into the gas chambers, and it's all a bit like, and I think it's supposed to be, I don't know whether it's supposed to be serious or whether it's supposed to be a comedy, because it never got released, because it was a bit of a sort of like, do you think that's going to work? Anyway, whether it does or not, but I know people that swear they've seen it, so whether it exists or not, I'm not sure. Anyway, best left. Bad taste, that's the word for it. I am still in Wales, but tongue twister. Thank you. Nice one, Al. I'm Matt L. Yeah. I'm going to go now that I've offended everyone with my description of Jerry Lewis's oeuvre, which means egg. Jerry Lewis laid a lot of eggs. Anyway, see you soon. Bye-bye.